Um, Hello, everyone. My name is Andres Diaz, and Will and I are back again to do a podcast. Of course, we're talking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2 and a spoiler talk of Eternals. Of course, how's everything, Will?
Good, yeah. How you doing?
I'm doing good. And, excuse me of my memory of Season 2 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's been, like, I'm actually halfway through the show. Um,
Oh
I,
wow. All right.
yeah, I'm, like, in Season 5. Um,
Okay.
yeah, me and my mom just got finished with the like first pod with everyone, you know, time travel and all that in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we're back in the past, and they're dealing with all this other stuff that happened to them in season 4, towards the end of season 4, with General Tablet being shot, and now they're framed again. They're on the run again. All that. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm at that point of the series. So, uh, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. But I will say I really enjoy season 2. I thought it was better than the first season.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean I guess I'll get out of this. I actually like season 3. I think that's my favorite season of Agents of Shield. Um,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah, I I think it was because not to get too ahead of season 3, but like I think I like season 3 more is because it was so sci-fi, and then like
Mm-hmm.
that hooked me into the
Yeah.
show even more.
Yeah.
Um, you know what I'm talking about, especially with season 3, the
Mm-hmm.
episodes. But I fairly enjoyed season 2. I think it was a step up from first season. I guess um I guess the first episode was strong, but then it started a little rocky when they, because was it Lucy Lawless was in the first episode, and they
Mm-hmm.
kill her off. And
Right.
I was like,
Immediately. Yeah.
yeah. So let's kind of get that over. What are your butter about that, Will? Or
Yeah, I was surprised. And it definitely upped the stakes.
oh,
Um,
that's true. Uh, yeah, I um yeah. Well, I guess like if we have to do it, at least they gave us lens. Like it was, I feel like that was a good character driven moment for that character.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, I mean, because we do bring that back when was it? I think in season 3. I think if I remember correctly, um,
Mm-hmm.
when Storyman comes back, and I feel like that was a good um callback for it. So, but yeah, I thought the first episode was a good start. I guess, I guess I was very happy we got more Hydra stuff. That's the big thing about it. Like this first half of the
Yeah.
first for season 2 is the Hydra, and I will say I like the antagonist of the show, Whitehole. That's his name. Um, the
Yes.
I think he was a very
Dr. List,
yeah, oh, Dr.
right?
List as well. Um,
Yeah.
or is Dr. List?
Uh,
Or
um,
no, no.
Maybe that's later.
That's later actually. I know. Yeah, List
Okay.
comes into season 2. It's just that's later on. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
that's when
But yeah.
yeah. I really enjoy his character. And I like how um he ties into the inhuman stuff, and
Yes.
Uh, I guess the one thing I liked about this season was more character development for Sky, because that was something
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
yeah. And so, what do you think about her character arc overall in season 2? Because I think I really liked it, and I really loved her parents and the actors they pick. I think all that was really wonderful. What do you think about Sky in this season? I think.
Yeah. I remember in the first season, like when I was first watching it, Sky was my least favorite character because I didn't find her that interesting.
Right, right.
Um, and like her plot with like the rising tide just kind of fell flat for me. But this season was incredible. Like, yeah, just everything with her parents, with like her discovering her powers and like her inhuman background. Just very cool.
Yeah.
Very well done. And definitely like fleshed her out more and made her role as like the focal point of the series feel more justified this
Yes.
season and moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I will agree on I agree on that statement. Yes, I really like Sky in this season. I think she had more emotional like uh like arc to go through than the first season. But I mean the thing that I like about it is that they built upon the setup they did in the first season. So I was very happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I mentioned this in the season one talk that it was cool to see that they were setting up Sky and it's her parents and all of that. And, and then we get the payoff of this season, especially we know what was her parents like, like how she survived from the did she 38 formula or something like that. Um, like she was a Creed, like she had Creed D. What's the full name? I forgot.
I have Wikipedia pulled up. It's GH325.
Yes, and so we discovered that because it was connected to her Creed DNA she had in her body. So so yeah, and then another thing I like about her arc was with Coulson. I like her relationship with Coulson. I like how we're building up to the father and daughter relationship. And for those both characters, and like Coulson gets kind of like caught in the middle of like he's trying to be a good mentor and like father figure to her, but then at the same time he gets in trouble with Sky's real parents and like and it's like I feel bad for Coulson, especially when we get into like season 3 and 4. Like he gets in like crazy. So excuse me. So I think that was another thing I liked about season 2. I mentioned Coulson. Do you like the payoff of his return, like him coming back from the dead, like what was it trying to figure out what's it the writing on the wall episode when we get the full conclusion of the Tahiti project, because that was something I was a little disappointed about.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, I don't know, like I think it was just the episode. It was like they were dealing with so much going on, and I just feel like the drug thing, like, just was kind of like an afterthought. I felt like I don't know, like, what's your opinion on the full conclusion of the GH 325 arc?
I don't know. I really liked the way that they dealt with Coulson's resurrection.
Okay.
I liked that it felt earned, because I know a lot of people were worried when the show started that they were gonna justify Coulson's resurrection with like comic book like,
oh, that's true,
like just like, oh, he lived, like there wasn't going to be any weight behind it. And I feel like the show really spent a lot of like narrative time like explaining how and why Coulson survived in a way that felt like true to the universe, without it like making death seem less permanent.
yes.
Or that they brought him back was horrific and difficult. And it wasn't just like someone snapped their fingers and Coulson came back. That wasn't supposed to be a reference to Thanos, but it was.
Yes.
Like his resurrection felt like there's a lot of like force behind it and didn't feel cheap. And I liked that. And then just the scene of like him in the actual machine while they're like rewiring his brain was horrifying.
Yes, we saw that a couple of times from
Yeah.
season one, and then this season. Yeah. No, I agree. I guess maybe I'm not being like particular. Like I didn't care for them to bring that there was like other subjects that took the drug. I
Mm-hmm.
I felt. Well, yeah, I guess the thing was like I was kind of shocked how um his because the big thing about the first half was Coulson was drawing these like Democrats, these Creek like
Right.
symbols, and honestly we discovered it was like a map to a city, obviously.
Yeah.
And then but then at the same time we discovered there was other what do you call it, volunteers before Coulson got the drug when he
Mm-hmm.
got killed from Loki and the Avengers. I was kind of like, whoa, really? There was other people that took the drug. And then because the episode that the clues that was the writing on the wall, and we got this like episode where there's a killer, he was killing the previous volunteers of the drug,
Mm-hmm.
GH, and that part I did not like. I felt like we didn't really need that, honestly. But
Yeah. Okay. I get that.
yeah, the stuff you mentioned about closing, and you're right. Like they at least took the time, that Coulson, is back, but there's what's the word, ramification of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Hydra wants Coulson in his blood, and then I think we get back to it in season 4, right? Or something like that. Right.
Trying to remember. I mean, it does come up like
A couple of times.
yeah, a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that there's consequences.
Yeah. And, well, I'm curious about this because I know he made a deal with the ghostwriter. That's
Yeah,
yeah.
you'll see at the end of the season that you're watching.
Okay. So I was kind of curious, like, is it with the GH or something else? Okay, so I'll leave that. I will say this season or is this no. I was thinking about May, and I just realized May has better character development in season 3, and season 2 I like May still in this season, but I we were introducing Andrew, right, in season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I really like Andrew in the show. I really like his chemistry with HMA, and I really think he was a good character, and I like him in season 3 especially. So, but still, I feel like May should have more character development in this season. But well, we actually, I'm this season we got the cavalry story, right? We discovered how she had to kill that inhuman child, and to rescue the agents of Shield, and the hostages that inhuman child did. Did you like that reveal, Will? Because that part I was a little kind of like, okay, this is convenient.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it does seem like if half the team is connected to the Inhuman storyline, it does feel a little yeah.
I like the reveal, like she was forced into killing the child, and like
yeah, that had a lot of dramatic weight behind it.
Yeah, like that part I like.
But but I agree with you that it does feel convenient that traumatic backstory fits into the plot that they're telling.
Yeah, and that was just weird. But yeah, I I don't know, like I felt like that was going too far to making Sky being kind of very, very important and like or trying to make the humans important in the universe. And so I felt
Mm.
like that was going too far. Um, but it was good. Um, then after May, we got Fitz and Simmons. Now those two characters are my favorite characters, and we can like
Yeah,
discuss them.
easily.
Yeah, they're easily the best characters. I love them from every season. And actually, just kind of a
Hmm.
brief hint. Season 3, that's where I say I actually like the show is because what they do with those two characters. And
Hmm.
obviously, my favorite episode is the one with Simmons. And so I'm not going to tell you what episode is that. I think you know what I'm talking about when I mentioned Simmons and
Yeah.
season 3. So, um,
Yes.
yeah. Oh my God. Great episode, season 3. One of
That's
the
a good
best.
one. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my God. Um, I was so happy I saw it finally because I knew because I saw one show from YouTube that when they got to the episode, it was like a big deal. It was like, one of the best episodes. And I was like,
Hmm.
so I was very excited to get to that season and see that episode. And yeah, did not disappoint. Um,
Good. Yeah.
yep, yep. But with season 2, I really like the character development for Fitz and Simmons. I think Fitz is meant, that actor is amazing. I think
Yeah.
he had,
I
oh my God.
yeah. I want him to be in everything. Like he needs to be in more stuff.
Yeah, I know. What's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I really like how they handle his brain or his like his brain damage or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. He had like brain trauma.
Brain trauma, and I really like how they handled that very well. Um, and then I was kind of scared they got rid of Simmons until we was it we got to the episode Making Friends and Influence People where Simmons is actually working undercover as Hydra, and I was like, okay, Simmons didn't leave, but she was still like she kind of left, Fitz, to be proactive and help Shield, take down Hydra, and very interesting. Like I don't know why Simmons did that. I don't know. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah. I don't know. I blame Simmons for Fitz dramatic. She should just stay there with him, like help him recover and stuff like that. But anyway,
Well, no, she had to do her undercover thing.
I don't know. Like I get you're trying to help the organization, but still, like your friend like needs you. Like especially when Fitz, like I thought Simmons was there, but then what was it? We got revealed that he's actually talking to himself, and that's where I was like, oh
Yep.
yeah, we're going down to that path. Um, I like we took our time with that. I appreciate we didn't get rid of him talking to the fake Simmons, or hallucination, we call it. Um, I really like all that stuff, and I appreciate they never rush to their relationship. I like they need to take time to like trust each other again. That was the part I really liked about both of those characters in the season, and I still like Simmons. I think I like how Simmons grow into an agent. I like how she still, well, especially in season 3, I like how she gets used to violence. That's the thing
Hmm.
that is interesting, or fascinating, I'll say,
Yeah.
at least. Well, then, who else we need to talk? We mentioned everyone for the OG.
We haven't talked about Ward.
Okay, let's get toward. Okay, I've seen the first 3 seasons. I will be kind of honest with you. I don't like Ward. I don't know why we still have him. Like
Yeah. I think they wanted to keep the actor around.
it's true. I that's the thing. I like the actor.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go, you go.
Okay. Very quickly. I like the actor. I think he is a good actor. I think he should have his own show and like, or be part of the like an ensemble cast, right?
Hmm.
I some reason the character Grant Ward I just don't like. I, I don't know, like they feel like I don't know if you will agree with this statement. I feel like they don't. I think Ward was done for first season, and I feel like just having him there, kind of like, ugh, like I I don't know, like because at first I thought they were gonna make Ward like like a sympathetic character, right?
Hmm.
With the background about him being forced to kill, he drowned his one brother in the well, right? That we
Hmm.
got from first season, and then this season we got introduced to his brother, right? The senator, Kristen or
Christian,
Chris,
yeah.
yeah. Um, I thought we were leaning to that direction, but no, he's this a psychotic killer who's very, you know, it's very benevolent with people, especially with Sky.
Hmm.
And I felt like why we need to do that. And then, yeah, in this season, he falls in love with Agent 33, right?
Right.
Uh, and, and I was like, oh wow, so he falls in love, and then obviously when May trick Ward to kill, Agent 33, and he's like, oh, like puppy love, like sad, and he's like, I want to revenge. I'm like, really? It's like, it's just like, especially when you get to season three, I'm like, I don't care. I just go away, Ward.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I like him as like a foil to the team, but I definitely
Yeah,
agree that like by season three, he was starting to overstay his.
he's
So
welcome. Yeah. Um. Well, when we get to season three, I like the Hive stuff. I think that's his best performance. I
yeah,
yeah, I think it's this season. I think I was kind of surprised. I thought he was gonna work more close to the Hydra plot, right?
hmm,
But he didn't, and that was the thing I was shocked about. I I don't know, but I still like the actor, but still I don't know. Like some of the stuff I didn't care with Ward. I think just personally for me. Well, and speaking of Agent 33 and Ward, we thought about the new characters. We've got new characters in this season, and I will say, especially with me and my mom, we really like Lance and Bobby in
yes.
this season. I want to get into that. Mac is introduced this season. I like Mac.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I, I mean, my mom doesn't like Mac until we get into like Yo-Yo and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially because I, I I'll get to the other thing I didn't like about the season was the real Shield thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. We've
Yeah.
talked about that before.
Yeah. I mean, I I like they got Edward James almost. He's a great
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah.
I love him.
Awesome.
Yeah. I felt like why we need another conflict.
Hmm.
Why are we dealing with this other conflict that I care most about? I don't understand that, but and they do a better job with that than other shows I see. So I will not gonna be harsh enough. I think, um, but I would say I like um I guess the character I like the most coming out from the season was Lance. I think Lance is the one that I like. I slowly, gradually like him
Hmm.
because at first I was like, oh, he's this British, hot rod. I was like, oh, I care for the money, and I'm like, that typical, mercenary guy,
Hmm.
man. And then, a couple episodes, I started to like him. I think the episode I started to like him was, I think, yes, in episode 4, season 2, Face Miami,
Mhm.
where like the team were in the plane, and they're having the conversation, and obviously I think Lance was talking about his ex-girlfriend or his ex-wife, I think. And
Ex-wife, yeah.
yeah, obviously we don't know at that time that was Bobby he's talking about, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Right.
and um, I really like that. That's the episode also like Mac as well, because he's like, oh, I my ex-girlfriends were amazing because I never had that issue. Whatever he say was just, oh my god, so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, so I think that was the episode I started to like Lance, and then Mac, I think I guess I started to like Mac in season 3, not in this season, to be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah, he definitely gets more development in later seasons, so that's fair.
Yeah.
In season 2, I like his relationship with Fitz, but that's about it.
Yes, I agree on that. His chemistry with the actor Fitz is amazing. I think he was very important to get Fitz out of this um like what was the word, like traumatic situation he was in, and like try to be proactive and stuff. I appreciate that. Um, I think it's the thing with the real Shield that I did not like with
Yeah.
him. It's like, really, it's just uh, just like I don't know, being us down to too many more fraction like organization and conflict. I'm like, don't
Yeah.
need that. Um, and then we get to Bobby, who I really like, and I think she's a really interesting character. I like when we get to 5 with a hen in the wolf house, where
Hmm.
you know we discover her, and she's an undercover shield agent, and it was funny. I love that episode towards the end where was it, I think Tipple, right? Or I am saying Tipple, or Anton.
Um,
Uh,
oh, Triplet.
Triplet, thank you.
Yeah.
Triplet is like, who is she? And then I think Maine is like, the ex-wife that Lance mentions, and it's like, yeah, and oh my god, that was my favorite reaction from that character. Oh, and speaking of that character, I let's have a silent moment for for that character. I was so
Yeah.
sad.
Me too.
Oh
Yes.
my god, when I was hoping that it wasn't true. He didn't die in the season, and
Mm.
we got to uh the was it the
The-
episode was it
It's the mid-season finale.
yeah, the
So,
mid season finale
um,
after not aftershock, what they become.
yeah,
Like, oh my
episode
gosh,
10.
yeah, episode 10, right? I was like, oh my god, he's not gonna die. I love him. I mean, he's everyone's favorite character, and
Yeah.
nope, he died with the was it the treasury miss crystal,
Yeah.
and the shrapnel, and like, oh, he turns into the stone. I'm like, oh no, he's dead. God. Oh, I was so sad. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, oh my god, this show. Um, I like they talk about him. I was very happy about that. Um, but yeah, he was my favorite like character from season 1, and I was so happy for him with the team. Like, I love um his interaction with Sky. I that was the part I liked the most with Sky in this season. Was that
Hmm.
character. I appreciate that Sky felt bad because what like if she didn't go to the chamber that will turn into the humans, maybe he couldn't be alive at that moment. But hey, um, but yeah, great character. At least his death was handled well compared to other deaths I've seen in shows, honestly. So
Hmm.
at
Yeah.
least they acknowledge his death and how important he was in the team
Yeah.
Shield. So and that's where like Matt comes in and he becomes more like him or in the show, like he becomes that stand-in. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I,
they serve similar roles on the team, like the team dynamic.
yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know. For some reason I like his background. Like he had a connection with one of the Howling Commandos or like one of the
Yeah, he was the grandson of one of the Howling Commandos.
yeah, and I wanted more about that in the
Hmm.
show. Like that was the thing that I was like that was the part I like about it. It was like, oh, okay, this is cool, and I
Hmm.
wanted to see that more in the this season or well, whenever he stay in the show to get to that. Um, I guess so we got to that part, and I guess we need to discuss like the villains. So I I'm kind of curious. Do you like the villains for this season? Like, were they better than the first season? I'm kind of curious about your opinion about that.
Uh, yes,
Okay.
yes. They were better than the first season. I liked Whitehall a lot.
Yes. I agree.
Um, the Inhumans were just cool. Man, I love the Inhumans. They did them
Yes.
so well. Like, ah, man, I will forever be disappointed by the Inhumans miniseries because there was so much potential, especially with what they set up in this show.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Why why they didn't I don't know why they didn't get Agent Shield to bring back to do that show because I don't know why they brought a new whole team that didn't know those characters. I
yeah, and they brought in the guy from Iron Fist.
yes I know.
Like, oh man, like Inhumans was painful to watch. Ah, oh man, I don't want to talk about it.
I know.
Still
It,
hurts.
it's awful. I will say I think my favorite character in the humans was Gordon. I don't know why. I just love his like no eyes and his his teleporter. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he was really cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. I think they did a good job of designing the Inhumans design.
Yeah, no, like Agents of Shield nailed it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, especially with like a like a minimal budget, like they actually pull it off really nicely
yeah,
compared to that show. Like I just wish they carry over the ideas they had for it. I like the was it the afterlife city?
yeah, yeah.
That was a cool concept. I like that. Um, they did a really good job of getting the Kree DNA, the chamber, the Tenzin mist. I
Hmm.
was so happy they kept that and the crystals. I like everything what they built to the mythos of the Inhumans. So that was really cool to see.
Yeah. Oh man, I think the Inhumans like mythology is so cool. And
Yes.
I like I'm so upset that it can't make it into the MCU like proper now.
No.
Because oh man,
I
like
know.
the Terrigen crystals, Terrigenesis, so cool. The like I don't know if you're familiar with like Inhuman storylines from the comics, but there's this one about like the Terrigen bomb that was really cool.
Yes.
Um,
Was that
yeah, like
in
Agents of
Infinity?
Shield draws a lot of inspiration from that one.
Yes. Is this the Infinity storyline, right? That was the one that introduced the bomb of that? Because that was the Infinity the I'm talking about the Infinity storyline. I'm sorry. That's the one where Thanos is chasing over his son, who's the Inhuman, and then I think Black Bolt like used his sonic screen and explode the floating city that we're in, and then that like had the Terrence Smith, and then that split all over the world, and then that's where we got all the
Yeah,
Inhumans and Marvel
yeah,
universe. Yeah,
yeah. It woke up all of the like latent Inhumans that were on Earth instead of um on their moon city.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's how
So
Miss Marvel came.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
How are you gonna do that? That's the other thing I'm curious about. Like, I,
I okay, I've heard that they're changing her powers for the TV show, and I'm like,
mm,
everything I'm hearing about that show makes me really nervous
very.
about it. I don't think it's gonna work, but or like yeah, I think they're gonna change too much for me. But
I'm just waiting where they're gonna do it. I, I
yeah,
mean, they could have like. I guess like how she's gonna get her powers. I'm like, is it gonna be cosmic or, or is it gonna be like a typical superhero power like
yeah,
transformation? Like
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
just want her to be an inhuman.
I know
You know,
it's
I want her to have her stretchy powers.
yeah. Stretchy powers. You like your
Ah,
stretchy powers. Um, it's a cool power. I mean, she could be, before Mr. Fantastic. Uh, we'll see.
yeah.
I'm curious how they're gonna handle that. My thing is like, I I like the humans because I like some of the characters that they interact with other Marvel characters, like Crystal.
Hmm.
I really like that character
Yeah,
and her relationship with the Human Torch, and
right.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, and then I like Black Bolt and Medusa, and those two characters I like the most.
Hmm.
When they interact with the Avengers and the various superhero teams, and yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
I guess besides Sky that got into the Mist, I want to get into Reina, or that's
Reina, yeah.
yeah, Reina. I really like Reina. She's a very like fascinating character. I liked her in first season, and it was cool to see her. Like, it was kind of funny when when she did transform into her inhuman form, and like
Hmm.
she's met Mr. Hyde, John's Daisy's father, and how he explained,
Yeah.
well, yeah, this is a inverse process, and like it was interesting how she wanted to be accepted, and like she thought she was gonna get these beautiful gifts. Instead, she has like this like mutant problem, like, oh, I'm a freak, and it was very interesting to see that from her.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It was a cool character arc.
yeah, I was really sad that she got killed when Chinese Daisy's mom killed her.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was cool to see her powers like progress. Like, at first we didn't know how her powers really are, and then until we realized it was like her, we call it like precognitive. Like, she got visions of what's going to
Yeah.
happen soon. You know?
I think it's precognition.
Yes, that's the one I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like that was a cool way to like not rapidly show her powers. So that was a
Hmm.
cool thing, and
Yeah.
especially when I think Lincoln realized that her visions actually came true. So
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
oh
She
yeah,
became the clairvoyant.
yes, exactly. She became the cover. That's right. She could have a cool superhero name, the Clamphorant, Miss Clamphorant. Oh my God, that's true. Uh, you opening my eyes. Well, oh my God. Oh, that is so cool. Oh, I love this show.
Yeah.
And then I mentioned Lincoln. He's another character that we got introduced. I like him. He's good. Um,
Okay.
he's very.
Yeah.
I mean, he's very hot drop. I would say guy. I guess.
Yeah.
I do like his chemistry with Sky.
Okay.
He doesn't get too much development this season. I like him in season 3.
Yeah, I think he's better in season 3.
Yeah, but the moments he have here are interesting, fascinating. I like his powers. I think they actually do a good job of doing, this electricity powers. Um, yeah, so he was a very fascinating character. Another, I guess we'll get into like Daisy's parents. I thought her Daisy's parents were the best thing about towards the end of the series. I
Mm.
was very impressed. I mean, first off, um, Calvin Johnson, the actor that played him.
Yeah.
He's like the highlight for me for this season.
Yeah, I love him in everything I see him in.
Yes. I don't know. You seen Portlandia? He's
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, he's my favorite character in that show. But he's the mayor. Oh my god, I just love him in that show, and obviously he's great in the movies like Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks, and
I could watch Kyle MacLachlan in anything.
Exactly. His scenes with Sky was great. I think I was very sad that I was happy and sad. Like he got a chance to restart and start over, but at the same time not remembering Daisy,
Mm-hmm.
and the daughter. Like I was really sad for his character, but I was also happy that he survived and can maybe start fresh.
Mm-hmm.
I really like the way we took the character, and I think it was a satisfying conclusion. And I like the mom. I think she was a very fascinating character. She had her moments. Like I get why she did it. Like start uprising. I guess the thing I was kind of like, why do it if if you have the daughter? Like, I don't know why she took the risk to like start a war against Shield. I just like it was better for her to not take it and just accept it, But then I agreed that she didn't want to be the index and be like labeled or like just her trust with humans had been completely destroyed. So I get why she did it. So
yeah.
Pretty sad. Like it was really horrific that she got like tore apart, by Whitehall, and like that was like
that was disturbing.
Yeah, really disturbing. I will say I wanted to kind of get into this. I don't mind the violence. The show gets kind of darker in each season.
Yes. They were moving to progressively later time slots while it was airing. So
yeah.
Get away with more
violence.
There's one thing from it's either season 2 or season 3 that was like the most disturbed I've ever been by something on TV.
Oh really? I'm curious.
Yeah.
We'll get to see. Okay.
I forget which season it's in. It happens to Lance.
Okay.
Or maybe it was Bobby, but I think it was Bobby. They like stuck nails under fingernails.
Okay. That's in season 2. That's in the finale.
Okay.
SOS.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Hated that. That stuck with me.
Really? Yeah, I was shocked too about that. I was like, okay, it's gonna be a typical torture, and then when they actually did it, I was like, oh wow, finished. Oh my god, I know. Oh my god, that was painful. I agree with you with that. Yeah. Oh god. Yeah. That's where I didn't like Ward. I was like, okay, Ward, you're going too far with this. And okay, we mentioned the parents. I guess General Tappert. He was a good character.
He was introduced. Yeah. Fun fact about that actor, that's the voice of Iron Man in the cartoons.
Really?
Yeah, in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, at least.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Because he is also in, what was it? He was in Supergirl, and
yes, he was.
Yeah, he played. Hold on, I know this character. Morgan Edge. He played the other Superman villain.
Yeah.
Edge. Yes. Okay, I'm looking at his Wikipedia. Yes, Avengers Assemble. He voiced Tony Stark. Iron Patriot, Space Phantom, Strongman. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, and he voiced Captain America in the Black Panther motion comic
Oh,
show. Oh wow. Oh wow. So he's been with Marvel for a long time.
yeah.
So yes, I thought General Talbot was a fascinating character. I liked him. He was very funny. I think the episode when Agent 33 disguised as his wife and like he thought it was Taco Tuesdays. Um, by the way, Will, um, uh, what was it? Is there a Taco Tuesday in real life? Like,
Sorry, you're cutting out a little bit.
oh, okay. I'm sorry. I was talking about Tablet and when Agent 33 disguised as his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then he thought it was Taco Tuesdays, apparently. That was a funny scene. And first off, is there ever a Taco Tuesday?
Well, yeah, that's a common
thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, personally, I think. I mean, I like tacos, but I think they're overrated. But anyway.
All right. Okay, that's a hot take.
Yes, especially when my family gets Taco Bell, because I have this conspiracy theory that Taco Bell is just lying to the consumers because they sponsor these new foods. And like, like I'm a consumer. I want that new thing or like the thing that I'm like, okay, I want to eat this, right? And they don't have it, and they don't have it in their menus, and that's where I get like angry as a consumer. So yeah, so my conspiracy is that Taco Bell is lying to their consumers every day. Anyway, that's going conspiracy question level. Okay. Is there anything else? I mentioned every major thing in the season, right?
Yeah, I think we've walked through this
whole
season.
I mean, I don't know. Like, do you have like a favorite episode? I mean,
Ooh,
yeah, it's a tough one.
It is tough.
I would say what they become.
Yeah, that's probably what I was gonna settle on.
Aftershocks. What else? Afterlife. Belinda. The Dirty Half Dozens. Scars and SOS. I think are the best episodes of this season. And I guess I will put Face My Enemy is a great episode. I think the worst one I did not like was the one with Sif. Yes, who you are. I feel like that's the worst episode of the season.
Yeah, it felt like a weird tangent. Yeah.
Like I like they mentioned like Daisy being a human, like that was the moment we like the whole team discovered she was a human. But I felt like it was weird that we have this and then we have this, the like Sif again. Man, Sif has her like she's like literally the worst episode of these two seasons.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Yeah, because when we get to season 3, Dr. Randolph, the other Asgardian character, like his second return was the best because it involves with him helping them get the portal and stuff like that,
Right.
I felt like that was the better episode for his return. This is just like ridiculous. Sif comes back and this is like it's a poor episode. Anyway, okay.
I do want to say, like, as a fan of the show Dollhouse, which was the show that Jed Whedon and Marissa Takaron had before the show. It was nice that they brought back some actors for this season. So
Yes.
the guy that played Whitehall and the woman that played Jia were both in Dollhouse.
Okay.
Yeah. And then they're reunited with another cast member in season 7, but I don't want to spoil that for you.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of Jillian, I did see this actress. She's also in Supergirl. She plays the character Raylet, or one of this like female villains that runs like a underground fight cage thing. So I recognize this.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that episode.
Yeah, it's in first season, I think.
Yeah.
Or season 2, actually. She's in season 2, and yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay episode. Nothing major.
Yeah.
But yeah. I like her too. She's really great actress.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's in Hawaii Five-O. I do remember her. Anyway, anything else besides that? I think I would say it's a step up from first season, but it's I'll definitely put this as my third favorite season of Agent of Shield.
I think it's my third favorite as well.
Okay, because I second for me is fourth season, and then number 1 for me is season 3.
Okay, so, I lied. It's my fourth favorite. It's right in the middle. Yeah, for me personally, it would be 4, 5, 3, 2.
Oh, really? 5 is second. Oh wow. I haven't seen I haven't finished season 5. 5 is I actually really enjoy season 5 so far.
Yeah.
I just this week I need to get back to watching season 5. Mm-hmm. Oh dear. But yeah, great consistent seasons. With 4, I love the Dr. Radcliffe character and the whole.
Yes, absolutely.
Just he's amazing. I'll be so excited when I talk to season 4 about that.
Yeah, that's my favorite season.
Oh my god, great season. Okay. Is there anything else we had to talk about season 2 before we enter internals?
I guess the tie-in with Age of Ultron felt really tacked on and unnecessary. Yeah.
Yes, I totally forgot about that. I think that was my. I guess that and the new Rio Shield was my least favorite thing about the season.
Yeah.
And when we got to the Age of Ultron tie-in, I was like, oh, okay, you got this other helicarrier.
I don't think we needed to explain how Nick Fury got a helicarrier at the end of Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
The show shines when it becomes its own thing and it develops its own mythology, like the Inhumans arc. So for it to momentarily fall back into being and also watch the Marvel movies.
Yeah.
It just really took you out of it,
Completely. I feel like they get better with that with Civil War when they do the Accords. I feel like they did better. They used that. I feel like the Age of Ultron thing just I don't know why you did it. It's just
No, I think the Age of Ultron is the last time where it really feels like they've shoehorned something into the plot.
Yes, I agree.
They just kind of ignore the movies after that.
Yeah, after that. Especially in season 4, they when I saw season 4, they completely ignored the Marvel stuff. We dealt magic, but they never mentioned Doctor Strange or there was just hints of it, but
right.
visual.
I mean, they got the Dark Hold, which would later appear in WandaVision and was referenced, I think, in Doctor Strange. It's the book that's missing from the library or something.
Okay, WandaVision. Speaking of the Dark Hold, it was funny to see it in that show in this show, and I was like, it was different from the one we saw in WandaVision.
Yeah, it looked different.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the show's considered canon anymore,
yeah.
but
no, I agree. I like the book in WandaVision more.
Yeah, I mean, it had a bigger budget behind it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you need a big budget to make a book.
No, I know, but like they
It
designed it to
just,
look like something that would be in a big budget blockbuster and not a network TV show. It
yeah,
was like it had a more intricate design.
yeah. That's my thing. It's weird how they just wrote dark hole in the book. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, you could have done maybe more fancy, like symbol and blah blah blah. But anyway. Yeah. Thank you for mentioning April to me. I totally forgot about that because I I like I knew it was in this season, but then it's like how they did it was just like awkward and just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we get into internals?
I'm ready to talk about Eternals.
Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining Agents of season 2 spoiler talk. Now we're going into the Eternals spoiler talk. So, Will, how you been? How you been, buddy?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Go.
So I know you got a chance to see it.
Yes.
Last week.
Yeah, last week. And when you saw this movie? This Friday?
No, I because we didn't record this last Sunday morning, I got to go then.
Okay. I see. I so this is the third MCU film we have this year. You know, we saw Black Widow and Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
And I think so far you and I like Shang-Chi the most.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. After this recording, I'm gonna see again in Disney Plus.
Right. Yeah, it's out now.
Yeah. I can see Morris again. And I was kind of curious about your opinion. Were you excited for the Eternals when they announced this project? Was it your most anticipated film of 2021? Like, what was your overall feeling for this film?
Indifference.
Okay.
Like I didn't really know anything about the Eternals other than they were like Jack Kirby's passion project in was it the 70s or the 80s? I don't remember. I think the 70s.
In the 70s.
But like,
because it's before. It's after the New Gods.
Yeah. Right. I don't know. Like, I was never that interested in Jack Kirby's like obsession with like space mythology stuff.
Really?
Yeah, it never really like did it for me. And then it was like characters I'd never heard of. So yeah, no, I wasn't really like too excited for it. And then they announced the cast, and it had an incredible cast with a bunch of people that I really like. So that made me a little more excited for it. And Chloé Zhao as the director was an interesting choice that I thought could be different from like other Marvel movies. And it was.
Yes.
Like
it really was.
Whether it's a good or bad thing is, debatable, but it was different. Yeah, I don't know. Were you looking forward to it?
I was looking for this because I really like Chloé Zhao. I've seen her film The Writer, and by the way, great film. And I think she's the most like interesting upcoming female directors. I think she has a voice, and I think this film is like the most director vision film since Iron Man 3 for me. Like,
I would argue Guardians.
Oh, okay. When I mean director vision, like the voice of a director, like her like
Yeah,
trade-offs, I like
yeah,
United Between, like it's completely a Shane Black film. I
right. Yeah, I think the Guardians movies are very much James Gunn, but
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Um, I guess for me, like what separates it is like you have Gunn's vision, but also you still have the formula, but like it meshes together. Like
yeah,
I, yeah, I agree. Or we agree and disagree. I, I think because this film is completely like Chloe Zhao, like I guess the other word like it's better for this film is the most distant was it this is
distinctive,
construction
or yeah,
film since Man of Steel. And
okay,
yeah, because like it goes for so many things that Marvel hasn't done yet.
yeah.
Mm,
I did. I really appreciated that it didn't stick to the typical like formula.
yes, that was the thing
Um,
that I liked about it. Yeah, um, yeah,
yeah,
I, yeah, yeah. This film is it's kind of tough to talk about because like first off, this movie is very I guess I want to get into like, do you have a problem with the pacing of the film? Because
yes,
okay, so let me disagree this. I think the pacing of this film was fine.
yeah. I
Um,
don't think it was as bad as a lot of critics were saying it was,
yeah, I
but
that
I
was
do think it was a little like a little messy.
yeah,
Um,
it was a little messy. I just wish they focus on one thing and then not jump around in
yeah,
time
I
periods.
when I finished watching the movie, one of my first reactions was like, this should have been two movies so you could flesh out everyone more, and you could have the first one be like them throughout history, and then the second one being them like
Present day.
in the present day, coming back together and like learning the truth about their mission.
That's true.
Or it should have been like a Disney Plus series or something. Like
Yeah,
it needed more time.
yeah. Um, yeah, I completely agree. Like
Which
the
yeah, it feels weird to say that a movie that was almost 3 hours long needed more time, but like it did.
yeah, all of it was so good. Like my favorite like flashback or time period was the 400 AD where the internals cannot interfere with the war that was going on, and then I was
Hmm.
Thea, the internal that is played by Angelina Jolie,
Yeah.
and that's where the scene where we discover she has this disease that she's kind of like was glitching. That was
Hmm.
like my favorite part of the movie was
Yeah.
there.
I I loved all the flashbacks.
Yeah,
Um, I
um,
really liked a lot of this movie, and then there are other parts that like really dragged it down.
drag it out. Yeah, yeah. This film, I will personally say I don't think is as good as Shang-Chi, but
No,
I
no
think
way.
no, it's I feel like Shang-Chi was like top to bottom, like a four quadrant, like crowd pleasing film that just
Hmm.
was incredible with the story and characters.
Yeah.
This film has it. It goes all over the place and it doesn't have a focus. I feel like. Um,
Yeah.
I feel like, and then the thing about it is like it. I don't know. Like I don't know if you have this thing, but for me, I don't feel like it's like a superhero film. Like it feels it feels more like a sci-fi film than a superhero film. I feel
Mm.
like um
I could see that, I guess.
yeah, well because like even the ending doesn't like it's not like a typical Marvel thing. It's like
Yeah,
it,
there's no like big, well, there's,
I mean, yes, we got the Eternal coming out from the Earth, but like it's not like the thing that like they're fighting. Like they're fighting Icarus, and then
right,
the other didn't
the Deviant
he has a name,
Crow. Crow.
Crow. Like, really?
Oh man.
Oh my God. Yes, so much stuff we can talk about. I guess let's go from here. Who's your favorite character in this movie? Like, who is your favorite character you like grasp onto?
Yeah, I really liked Icarus, and then I hated that he died at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Like, man, I thought he was really interesting. I loved the twist when he turned on them. I
Mm,
thought it was like a really interesting dynamic to have him like still believe in the Celestials' mission. But then when he changes his mind, like that's a perfect setup for like a really thoughtful like redemption arc in later movies.
yeah.
And instead, nope, flies into the sun, which is so extra.
Yeah. I I completely agree with you with that. Um, I mean, I I'm curious if the eternal the red internal will like bring or like he will
Version.
like yeah will bring him back or like bring a
Yeah, I
version.
I really hope so because I also just really like um Richard Madden and I want to see him in more things.
Yes, and I mentioned this to my friends and especially the YouTuber Miss Flamingo
Mhm.
that I thought he was like a perfect actor to play a new Superman. Um,
Yes,
and and
absolutely.
yeah, and I feel like Richard Madden has
Madden.
Madden Richard Madden um like that was where I heard that Chloe Zhao was inspired by Man of Steel and like you can
Right.
see that clearly and like
Yeah.
I think she did a really good job and I think he was like the most impressive actor I seen in with the cast here.
Mm,
Um, okay. My favorite actor or
mhm.
character was Makari, the mute space.
Okay.
She
Yeah,
was my favorite.
she was cool.
Yeah, she was very cool. Like she comes late in the film,
Hmm.
but she like completely had present and like she was like her powers was like already like visually interesting to see in the big screen and like this is one of my favorite speedsters in the screen since The Incredibles with Dash and
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, I loved the visuals that Chloe Zhao had for Makari.
yes um and I love her fight with Icarus and I think
Mm,
it was one of the best like superhero fight I've seen in a while,
yeah.
and I think this film for me was the best depiction of any superhero powers. Like I like the way King Ho's powers were visually
Yeah.
displayed. I like that. I love Gilgamesh's powers. He had like a very interesting power he was using, and like
Hmm.
Thea and her like creating weapons was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
I,
impressive. But
yeah, visually, I really like the movie.
yes, I, I,
Um,
I one of the best like visual films since Black Panther for me. I will say
okay.
because I don't want to include the DC films because I mean I mean Shang-Chi had really cool visuals.
Yeah, um
Yeah, I guess the one that was like the most impressive and like it didn't follow the Marvel formula was Black Panther.
yeah. I mean, I really like Afrofuturism. So just
Oh,
anything in Wakanda.
kind of yeah. Well, that's
Absolutely. I'm on board.
yeah,
Yeah.
boy, yeah. I agree, and that was like photographed by Ryan Coogler's regular
Hmm.
Rachel Bronson, who she's like the first female cinematographer to be nominated for Academy Award for
Oh, that's cool.
cinematographers. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's why I love Black Panther. And for Shang-Chi, the reason I like why I mentioned that because that is photographed by William Pohl or Bill Pohl, he was used to call. He was the one that photographed the
Mm,
Matrix trilogy. He did Spider-Man 2 and 3 with Sam Raimi. Um,
okay.
yeah, and he does the Edgar Wright films.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I
Oh,
love.
nice. Okay,
Yes,
cool.
yeah. And this film is is photographed by Ben Davis, who's a regular for Marvel Studios. He did Guardians, he did Age of Ultron, he did Captain Marvel, and this is his fifth, right, for MCU
Okay.
film. And I think he's been the best one for this franchise because
Mm,
he really brought like a very distinct look for those films, and this is his, I would say, second best after Guardians,
yeah.
the first Guardians, because he doesn't do the second film. That's weird.
Okay.
Yeah, so I agree. Especially in the internal ship, I felt like that was like the most impressive like visual, the internal ship. I really dug that. Um, yeah, yeah.
I liked the way Babylon looked.
Oh yes, yeah. I love the blues. The blues look.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then yeah. So, yeah. There's a lot to.
Yep. There's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. I guess I so have a question. You mentioned the twist with Icarus.
Yeah.
Did you say you were did you expect that?
Yeah, I did not. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, I saw it coming." I think I was blind to it because I like Richard Madden so much. I was like, clearly he's the good guy. Um, but yeah,
Wow.
I didn't see it coming.
Okay. I didn't see that coming, but my friend Miss Flamenco saw it, and like she told me
Mhm.
like, oh, hey, she saw that miles away. I was like, okay. Um I I guess because we kill off who was it, Ajak, so early.
Mhm.
And I will say I was very disappointed that they didn't properly use Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too, because I love her.
yeah, and
Yeah.
like she's funny. Like I don't know if you've seen the Hitman films. Like she's like the
No, I
best thing.
haven't, but
Okay, you need
yeah.
to see the first film, but especially the second film. She's so funny.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. um, especially there's like a running gag about adoption. Like she wants to adopt a child, and like
Mhm.
it's like the best comedy gag ever. You had to see in the second film. It's great. It's with Ryan Reynolds and some
Yeah.
um, conveniently with more actors. Yeah, I was shocked that we kill off Ajak. We don't use her. I thought she was a very fascinating character to like
Mhm.
have, but then
Yeah.
like they kill her off. But and if you see the character die off screen, it's like okay, we're going back to that, and you know stuff like that. Yeah, uh, I felt like that was a misstep from this movie to kill off
Mm.
Ajak, but then it did raise the stake higher and like believable. Like we did kill off a couple of characters, like Gilgamesh. We kill off him, and I was very sad that we kill off Gilgamesh,
Mhm.
because I think he was my second favorite character. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I really liked his relationship with Athena.
yeah, uh, amazing chemistry between those two, and like
Mhm.
um, I love his joke about whether Kinko's assistant, and like he brought up Afrin,
Mhm.
like he referenced Batman and he referenced Afrin.
Yeah.
That was funny, and I love his when he got the news of Ajak die. I love how he unfortunately drops the pie to the floor.
Yeah.
Oh my god, funny scene, but like it was so like performed well by the
Mhm.
actor that played him. Oh my god.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, and speaking of relationship, yeah, that is my second favorite. Gilgamesh and Thea. But Makar and Droog were like my number one favorite like relationship in the film. Like it was so practical and like I wanted more those two in the screen. Um,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll get more of them in the future.
Yeah, That's true. I thought they had chemistry, and I love the moment when he was like Nani to her, when was it Fastfulls was explaining about the bands and the UMI,
Mm-hmm.
and like she and then she smiles when he does the Nani to his head, and you're like, oh, look at this, and this fancy toys, and, oh my god. I guess let's get into like, who is your least favorite character in this film? I'm kind of curious.
Uh, I guess Crow,
Oh, who's that?
the
That's the
deviant.
deviant. Oh, yes.
Like they did a really good job of like making me care about all of the Eternals,
Mhm.
um, which was surprising. Um, but then Crow, I really liked the idea of Crow, where he
Yes.
like would like absorb their powers. Then there was like he like claimed to have like Gilgamesh's memories or something, and then he fought Athena. Like it felt really unnecessary. Like there was already enough going on with like Icarus betraying them and
Yes.
Tiamat coming out of the earth. Like you didn't really need that. And then like the battle between Crow and Athena could have been really like intense and dramatic and like emotional for Athena, but then it just kind of like happened fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And
I,
like that threat that had been built up the entire film was just gone.
yeah. Yeah. This is where I had my criticism. This is where it was like the most MCU, but it wasn't. Like, I, I mean, first off, Crow, I like the Deviants. I think they were visually fascinating and
Yeah,
like,
they were really cool looking.
yeah. And when we got the Crow, I was like, oh, okay, this is fascinating. Okay, the status quo of this one deviant was different because now he had powers, and like I like the conversation, like the reveal that it was created by the Celestials. It was the Celestials.
Celestials, yeah.
Yeah, and like it was supposed to be the proto internals where they were trying to keep the Earth safe so that the birth of the Titan Celestials could come out safely, right?
Right.
For the emergence, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting. It was like a AI kind of like idea, but differently. Like it was
Mm-hmm.
like, like, oh, like they have a mind of itself and like that. Like that was interesting,
Yeah.
especially with Crow. But then it I feel like they shouldn't save it for a sequel, like because
Yeah,
you were talking about Athena, and like there was way too much going on, and I agreed. Like they like Icarus was enough, but then I don't know if it was Feige or someone like were worrying about like, well, because Icarus like was eternal. Like we had that you brought up like in on one of our previous discussions about how the villains were similar to the hero. Like
yeah, it's a common thing where like the villain is just the dark version of the hero in a
yeah.
Marvel movie.
Do you
Yeah.
think did they compromise that and say like, okay, let's have this different version? Like I don't know.
No,
Like I don't know.
I
Like
don't know why they did it that way.
yeah,
I think it would have
that's
been more interesting if they were like, hey, like now we both don't want this celestial to be born. Let's work together this time, and then we'll go back to fighting each other. But instead, it's just they're all fighting.
and by the way, like where were his other demons? Or did we kill them when they were at Groot's like cult?
Yeah, I think they killed the others, and then it was just Crow left.
Okay. I was like, okay, because that was the thing. I was like, wait a minute, he has other demons. Like that's another thing. I'm like how many demons there are? Like can they reproduce? Like I had like
I
these
think
questions.
there's five. There's that scene where like when Ajax dies,
Yes.
they show all of them, I think. So I think there's five, if I'm remembering correctly.
Oh yes, there's four separate with Crow. With Crow,
Right.
that
Yeah,
is already
Crow, and then he like transforms the other four into their
like yeah, different
yeah,
forms. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, it's kind of funny. Well, and because in this movie, they explain why the deviants came back because of Thanos snapping, right?
Right.
Or like the
Or
Avengers.
the Avengers snapping.
Yes, when the Avengers got the stones and they reversed the whole snap, of
Mhm.
course they accelerate the emergence and then they brought back not only that the deviants, right?
Mhm.
Um, I mean, that's what I mean. Like, it's not a superhero film. Like, it feels like a huge, epic sci-fi film. Like, it's
Mhm.
like Avatar meets with 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like we have conversation about the emergence and the unit mind. It's like we're going to the sci-fi route
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, I agree with you, crew. It's fascinating you didn't say anything about the Eternals. Like that was your least favorite character. I was kind of surprised you mentioned that deviant villain.
Yeah.
I
I like I said, I think they did a pretty good job of making me care for
hmm,
each of them.
okay,
I guess if I had to pick an Eternal, it'd be Druig.
really, huh?
Yeah. But like I thought he was interesting. Like I thought the conflict he had where he was like the first one to be like, are we the baddies? You know, was good, but I don't know. He
I don't know.
was kind of a jerk.
But that's the thing I like about him. He had an attitude I like. Like
Yeah.
he was right in every point that was going on in that film, and I like his relationship with
Yeah.
Makari.
I liked him and Makari.
Yeah. Um, I I get what you're saying. I'm just making fun of you.
Yeah.
I totally get what you're saying with Drew. I let me get to my least favorite character. I guess my least favorite character is Sprite.
Okay.
Um, the Eternal that is like the child and she could
Yeah.
create illusions. I felt like she was very unnecessary for this film, and like her joining up with Icarus was very obvious, and like if you saw the Icarus twist coming, like you knew her character was going to like a dark path, and
Yeah.
and I there's things I think it was like a very artificial reason I like the character, but like they didn't took their time with the character. Like it was just comparing her to be like the fairy for Peter Pan.
hmm Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell. How did I forget about her name? Tinkerbell, right? That was history, like how like Circe was like Wendy, and then like Icarus was Peter Pan. Like
hmm
I like that conversation and like the thematical connection to it about those characters and that, but like it wasn't enough to like get to that point, and like and her like backstabbing Circe was like, oh okay, I
Yeah. Ah, man. Yeah. No, I agree. Like I think I really liked thematically what they were going for with her, which is why
yeah
she wasn't my least favorite. But I agree that the execution was kind of weak.
yeah
Um, yeah. And then her backstabbing Cersei, and then like 5 minutes later, Cersei's like, "Oh, want me to grant your deepest wish?"
yes.
Like I get forgiving her, but it's just weird.
It
Like
was
tonally, like she just stabbed you. She just stabbed you.
totally deaf. I when we got to that, I was like, really? I I was like, I mean, I don't know, like I that completely like I was just shocked that we did that, and like we
Yeah.
just ignored the fact that she almost kill you. I can't believe it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just yeah. I guess speaking of tone, I like the humor of this film.
Yeah.
I want to get into your like I what you thought about the humor in this film, because I was surprised how much MCU humor. It was in the film. It
Yeah,
wasn't like Ant-Man or the Wasp, like or
right.
like it was like in the middle of like Black Panther, Captain Marvel, like very like dry humor. And
Yeah, I really liked that he used it sparingly. Like
mhm,
the humor primarily came out in like quieter moments between the characters. So it was like jokes
yes,
between characters, or it was like character specific. Like they weren't all making quips. It was like Kingo is the funny one. He makes the jokes when they're fighting. Like
yes,
it wasn't just like everyone turns into Spider-Man the second a fight starts, you know?
yes, or making pop culture reference.
Right.
Or the pop culture references were funny because it was like generally funny compared to
Yeah.
Spider-Man's. Oh, um,
But yeah. Yeah, the humor worked for me.
yeah. Okay, okay. I agree. Because I like the humor because I disagree with my friends because they thought, or Miss Flamenco mentioned like some of the humor didn't hit for her, or like it did hit, and I
I
thought it was generally consistent throughout the
yeah,
film.
I will say none of the jokes that Fastos made me laugh.
Mm,
Like man, his character, like I liked his character, but like his dialogue always felt like he was in a different Marvel movie.
yeah, he
Like
was
it
like,
didn't match the seriousness of this movie. Um, and also didn't match his character. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah,
Like all of the Eternals, other than Kingo, would talk with like a gravitas behind them. And then Fastos just talked like a person, which was fine, but like it didn't quite gel.
yeah. It's weird because I think it's like when you have like a ensemble team or like a superhero team, right? You have the typical characteristics of a character,
Hmm.
like Star Trek is like, okay, you have the level-headed, like select sparkling captain. Then
Hmm.
you have Spock. He's like the cold and like logical person in the ship, right? And then you got
Hmm.
McCoy, the grounded, sarcastic doctor, like, and then or like in Star Wars, you have Luke being like the heroic homeboy, home, farm boy, um, have a destiny, and you got Leia being the princess warrior, like she can handle herself, right? And you got Han Solo, the very like you know loner and like stuff like that. And when you look at the characters of Eternals, like Phastos is like a scientist. He's like the smart guy in the team, and
Hmm.
and sometimes when you have smart people, it's usually they're like the comedic ones, like recently, like Flash, yeah, like Cisco is like the comedic, like he's like the relatable nerdy character, right? And like he
Hmm.
makes the quips, right? And and all the Marvel films, the MCU films, you have Tony being the sarcastic one, or like Spider-Man, like he's smart, but like he has his way of joking around, or like
Hmm.
like that. And when you look at Fastball, it's like he feels out of place because he's like the smart guy, but you usually expect the smart guy to be the funniest. But like we save all the comedic stuff, like for some characters, but like specifically Kingo, like he's
Hmm.
like the comedic character we have, like he's the comedic person in the group.
Yeah.
And I don't know, yeah, I agree. My parents had that with that actor, with Brian T. Henry with Khan versus Godzilla, Godzilla versus
Okay.
Khan.
Yeah.
Like his humor was not like they didn't
Yeah.
like his humor there, like
I
I did.
agree.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree
weird
with your
that you.
friends.
Yeah, it's weird that you mentioned that. I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
I
that's
think
I.
um
I
I don't know, he
well, I let me say this. His humor over Godzilla versus Khan, I can understand from my parents because it was very stereotypical black humor. Like he was like a conspiracy, like I couldn't get it. Here, I don't know, like he's like a family. Like it's weird, like we never get into more of his family. Like
Yeah.
more like I don't know, like there's a lot of things about fast food is interesting, but
Yeah.
like they don't take the time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
They needed more time.
yeah,
Should have
more
been.
time. That's the running gag of this podcast.
Yeah.
More time.
Oh
Um
man. Because I really liked the scene with his family and like the discussion he had with his husband when he was like deciding whether or not to go.
yeah, I like that. And his kid, I thought he was like the most funny child we have
Yeah.
since the Cassie in the Ant-Man films. Like
Hmm.
I love his bit when he meets Icarus and he's like, oh, he's the Superman, like fighting with a cape. It's
Yeah.
funny, you know.
I did like at the end, probably the only like fastest thing that landed for me was when Athena is in the kitchen with the kid.
Oh
She like
yes,
stabs the apple and he's like, your babysitting privileges are revoked.
revert.
I was like, yeah,
Yes,
that like that was the only one that like worked for me.
yeah. Um, yeah, I could believe that was so funny. And the way Angelina Jolie does it is so funny.
Hmm.
It's like, oh my god.
Yeah. Oh man, she was so good as
Yeah,
Athena.
I was shocked about that. I was like, okay, so, you know, like I like Angelina Jolie as an actress, but
Yeah.
when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, she's great. Like I
Yeah.
mean,
I was fully expecting her to phone it in because like
yeah.
she's Angelina Jolie. She doesn't need to do this, you know? Um,
I was shocked she
but yeah,
survived. Uh, like I, I'm shocked we're gonna continue with her in this franchise. Being, um, but hey, I'm sorry to interrupt. I, so, but yeah, was well, what do you thought about Cersei as a character? Because
yeah, I think she was interesting. I think she was the right choice for them to like center the film around, just from like a storytelling perspective.
okay, okay,
Um, because she had the most empathy for
humans,
humanity. Yeah.
yeah, um,
Um,
fascinating. uh, and yeah, I agreed. It's Gemma Chan. She was in previously in Captain Marvel
right.
as one of the Kree soldier, Minerva, but that like she was like a major Captain Marvel villain that Marvel killed off or whatever. Um, yeah, so yeah, I really liked her character. I heard some people like it's like some didn't like get behind this character, and then her relationship with Icarus was industry. Like she had chemistry with her, but like I also wish we had more time with Cersei and Icarus relationship
Yep.
more in the film.
We wish we had more time.
Yeah, and you know, I I just feel like, and then I was kind of surprised that. Well, I mean, they mentioned before the film came out with Dan Whiteman. Like, remember, like, let's not
Yeah.
forget we have another Game of Thrones actor here as well. Like Keith Harington, that's
Two
his name.
Starks. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the two Starks, and him being Dan Whiteman. Of course, he's going to be Black Knight
Yep.
later on. Um, yeah, I thought he was great. I actually liked him in the film. He was very funny. I love this joke. I like when he was gonna do the like because the girls Sprite and Cersei jumped did the very superhero like jumping over the walls. Like
Yeah.
he was gonna about to do it, but then he's like, nope, go down the
Yep.
stairs.
Yep. That was good.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was my. I love that so much, and yeah, and then what was the other joke I like for him? I like how he was asking the girls about like, do you want pizza? That was funny. And
Hmm.
or like one thing I did like about Sprite, I like how Sprite talked like she told everything to Dan about who and Cersei was. That was a funny gag. I
Yeah.
love that. Oh my god. Um. Okay, so what else we need to discuss? What other characters we need? Oh, we mentioned Kingo, right?
Yeah.
I love Kingo.
Yeah, he was my second favorite character.
Yes, he's my maybe fourth, the third or whatever. I love his assistant. Like that whole thing works. Like,
yeah.
Oh my god. We met the assistant. He was funny, but when he started filming and like the running gag is like how many cameras you have? Like he has like so much to just capture it. It's just oh my god, so funny. Oh my god. I love how he said goodbye to Eternals. Like that was my favorite scene, and him praying, like doing the like funeral, like ritual when Gilgamesh died. I really love that scene, and I like how that assistant like did the pray, and I really like all that. So I think Kingo and his assistant was like the best thing about the humor and in the film.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Kingo and Droop's interaction when he said, "Oh, Kingo, the movie star," and and Kingo like replies like, "Oh, I directed something." And and I love the one bit when he mentions streaming, like everything now is on streaming now. Like it was funny. It was funny how he mentions the streaming service in more of the film. That was fun.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I have a question for you. You say you did not like you don't care for Kirby's cosmic like
yeah.
Were you bothered by them not going into the Kirby designs of the suits and then the celestials and like you're fine with them going to a different direction with their designs?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked fine.
Okay. Well, I because like in Guardians we saw one of the celestials like being the very comic book looking. So I mean they are. I mean if you look at the designs, they're basically the same. It's just they don't look fattier in the comic books. If you read the Eternals or any cosmic book that they get involved with Jack Kirby, but okay, that's answering. Okay, let's get into the mid credit scenes and the post credit scenes. So, let me get to the post one because the mid credit scene is like what everyone's favorite. The post credit scene, people were confused.
Oh, I guess I recognized Mahershala's voice.
Okay.
Mahershala's voice. So I was excited. But
okay. Okay, that's funny. Well, for me, I had a conversation with my dad about Blade 2 because Blade 2 was on TV.
Yeah.
And I was looking at the Blade Wikipedia thing, and I know Mahershala Ali was going to be in Eternals. That's how I knew that.
Oh, you got it spoiled for you?
Yeah. Well, what I did, unlike Black Widow and maybe Black Widow, or unlike Shang-Chi, I actually spoiled myself with the stuff in the Eternals because I was curious because everyone was having mixed reviews. I was like, okay, like I did that with Venom 2. So like I will just do it when I'm feeling excited for this one film, and I'm not gonna go and look at the spoiled thing. Yeah. I did that with Black Widow, Shang-Chi, and the Suicide Squad. But I saw that, and it was kind of funny. My friends I was with on Sunday, some people thought it was the Watcher, and yeah, it was because like he did sound similar to Jeffrey Wright in a moment, and my friends were like confused, like who was that? And then I had to explain that was Blade, and like why they didn't show Blade? Like I don't.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to show. They want to like hold that for Blade's own movie. But
yeah, well, I know that, but like.
They could have done like an over the shoulder thing where you just saw like the back of his head or something. Yes. I feel like they couldn't have done that because
it was like the most confusing credit scene that people saw. Like they didn't
Yeah.
know. Like the director had to like say no, that's Blade, and
Yeah.
it
No,
was,
I saw it with a couple friends, and I like visibly reacted to the voice. I was like, oh, like cool. And then they had no idea what was going on.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah. A really weird thing to do for post credit scene for Blade. And it was weird. It was also like it was like a double entendre because like it was like the Ibanan, like it was the legendary Ibanan blade that Black
Mhm.
Knight is going to use, and like you have like what, why why we're doing this for Blade? Like is he going to be a cosmic villain or a cosmic
Well,
hero? Like
no, they're on a team together in the comics, the Black
oh,
Knight and Blade.
oh
Yeah.
really? Okay, that makes more sense now. Okay, okay, okay. Because yeah, because I was a little weird why they like I get they were setting up Black Knight, but I didn't get why they put Blade there. It's like okay, that makes sense. Do you think he was gonna be in the Blade movie then? Like if we're gonna
Yeah, I think that would be the next place to see him.
okay, I okay, that's that okay, that makes sense. Okay, so we covered that down, and let's get into the mid credit scene. This is where my good friend Miss Funigo loved this. She said it was the best thing about this film over the actual film.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
well, because there's a certain actor in this film that she likes.
Yeah, Patton Oswalt.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm sorry, not that one. The other one.
No. Yeah. Harry Styles.
Exactly. Harry Styles as Star Fox or Arrows.
Arrows.
Arrows. When that happened, when he popped out, everyone was like, well, she was screaming so loud. I was like, okay, okay. And I did say to her, he looked like the comic book character when we saw him. Like he had the costume, like it was
Yeah.
red and white. He had the hair right. I was like, wow, he looked straight out of the comic book. Um, this one was my favorite mid credit scene, I will say, because it set up something for the sequel or the potential future for the Eternals.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I was shocked for Patton Oswalt. Like, she recognized the voice. I didn't. I was like, was that Patton Oswalt? And we saw the credits, the end credits, and we saw the actor name for
Mhm.
this troll creature. Um, yeah, so I like the mid credit scene. I like that Thea, Makara, and Drew didn't get captured from the red Celestial and
Harrison. Yeah.
Emerson, yes, and very curious with Christine. I was surprised they're gonna mention the Thanos part, him being
Yeah.
brother. Where
Yeah.
I
That's
like,
confusing. I mean, like I know the history in the comics. I just was surprised that they were gonna bother doing
yeah,
that in the movies.
yeah. Same here. It's because like we didn't, touch that, and when Thanos was a big thing, but
Right.
I mean, like Thanos does come back in the comics, like as a young person or the son, usually.
Mm.
Like I don't know if they're gonna do that or the latter I mentioned, the son of
The
Thanos.
son. Yeah.
Yeah, but then that when you bring the son, you have to bring in the humans, right? Like
They
because
could change it.
well, yeah, that's true. I mean, we're getting Anna Warlock in
Right.
Volume 3, and she's gonna be a completely different version of that character. So
Yeah.
yeah, you're right about that. Yeah. Um, yeah, good Ben Chris scene. Very excited for that. Yeah, good film. Not as bad as I think many people. Were you surprised that this was going to get huge mixed reviews? Because I was surprised about that.
I was surprised when it happened, but not after I watched it.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like the film, I reacted to it very similarly to how I felt about Thor: The Dark World,
Okay.
but like it's an okay movie. But then
Yeah.
I think um, Thor: The Dark World was okay, but it was fun, and then The Eternals was okay, but it was like well made, you know, like
Yeah.
it was like better directed. It had like a more interesting plot. Um, and I think if critics are going to a Marvel movie, they're going to expect it to be fun,
Yeah.
which is fair. Like it's a superhero blockbuster. It should be. And I think that's like the differential between the like critics' reviews.
Yeah. I think uh for me, I think this feels more like Man of Steel, right? Like I feel like
Yeah.
this is what Man of Steel should be instead of the other way around. Because for me, I felt like Man of Steel was trying to be this hopeful film, which wasn't. Like
Mm-hmm.
they were like contradicting what they were saying, what the film was really doing. Like,
Right.
and here, this is what Man of Steel was supposed to be doing. Like
Yeah.
this film is the most hopeful, very optimistic. Like it was very soulful.
Mm-hmm.
But my problem with the film is like I like it's ambitious, but like it didn't have the focus like some of the more ambitious like Marvel films we have, like X-Men Days of Future Past or the Avengers films, or Black Panther, like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my problem, where they were just juggling too much plot points or characters in one film, despite the long running time they had. So, but it's best to be focused and just be more efficient what you're going to do,
Mm-hmm.
because you have a platform for Disney Plus and the movies to explore this characters more and the universe, as MCU is doing it, which we're going to get. So I'm not going to be very harsh on this film and what they should have done, because they have a lot of room to explore these characters now. Now they
Mm-hmm.
introduce them. So
Yeah.
you know,
I am. I'd be interested in a sequel.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
I do want Chloe Zhao to come back and
Yeah. Me
do
too.
the sequel. One thing I would say, I have optimistic Marvel will improve these things. They did that with Thor, that worked well for them. So, and they're doing that with Ant-Man, with Ant-Man 3, so they can do it. So I have no problem with that. So it's not like Disney when there's something wrong with the film, they do the reactionary thing of like doing the opposite, and that's where they get in trouble. Where
Mm-hmm.
this is where the MCU has been successful, is that they listen to their fans. So
Yeah.
that's the thing. So, um, but yeah. Um, and is there anything else we have to say for the internals? Um,
I think I'm all right. I think I'm ready to wrap it up.
yeah, me too. Um, well, Will, next week is Hawkeye, right? Um,
I think 2 weeks from now,
2 weeks from now.
right?
Yeah, Hawkeye.
Isn't it like the day before Thanksgiving, the
Uh,
24th?
yes, it's gonna appear in November 24th. Yes, you're right. Okay,
Okay.
so we got one more week. And they did confirm that they're gonna release the first two episodes on that day.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna have another podcast with two episodes, just like WandaVision. So that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'm very excited for that show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I love New York. I love Christmas. I love New York at Christmas. So to have
all that and one.
a Marvel thing set in that setting is great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yep, I agree. I totally agree. I'm excited for uh, Haley Steinfeld coming to
Mm-hmm.
the MCU.
Yeah.
I think she's a great actress, and I love her previous work with The Age of 17 and Bumblebee. And I think I'm very excited for her to join this franchise. And yeah, and just get more proper development for Hawkeye. That's the big thing for me.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So I guess next Sunday, what do you want to do? You want to do another Agent of Shield podcast, or you want to do a movie podcast? It's up to you.
We can do season 3 of Agents of Shield if you want.
Yes, let's do that. So we
Okay.
can be because like I already finished season 3, so I want to talk more about that.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that's cool. All right,
Cool.
well, thank you, Will, for coming. I'm so happy to talk to you again. Oh,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, it's been so long. Oh, oh my God. So and you guys as well, the subscribers and the listeners of this podcast, thank you for being patient. Me and Will be back for next Sunday for Agents of Shield season 3 podcast. So no further ado, guys. Enjoy the podcast and see you guys all soon.